interesting because once a team gets knocked into losers, their mindset changes. No longer is it, we have a second chance. No longer is it, we can try this out. We can test our boundaries. It's, we really, you don't see like low play percentage picks. You're not going to see somebody playing somebody they've only played like 2 games in ranked with. You're going to see, all right, we're picking my main. I got 80 games played in ranked, and it may very well be Aurelia top, but damn, I'm going to win with Aurelia top in Season 4. Let's do this.
And
thank you. Leon support. There you go.
Nice. All right, the Rise going with the old Mana Crystal 2 pots. That's a very classic opener.
These, as we're moving up in the bracket, the dedicated 5-man invades are becoming more and more of a thing. It looks like SUPAhotCrew is holding back the beast, though.
The baiting Elise.
The baiting of the beast. The level 1, I actually am in favor of To Be Determined's level 1. You know, they got the Daybreak Shield, they got Kha'Zix, you know, Taste Your Fear is going to do a ton of damage.
Yep.
Aurelia is going to be able to auto-attack people.
Maybe she got the equivalent attack, no idea. But yeah, she will auto-attack people.
She will auto-attack people.
At least once before they run.
Yeah. But you know, like Rise isn't really going to do a whole lot except like Arcane Prison. Yeah. And it's really, I don't see them fighting. Oh, I'm about to eat my words.
Oh my.
They don't know that they're there. They might be, see, To Be Determined may come to the conclusion that an invade is not happening, when in reality there's a 4-man party awaiting them in the tri-bush.
Do they smell something
How long are they going to stay?
They're going right at 155.
Are they gonna go to the buff steal?
They're gonna make sure they start the buff. They want to guarantee that they don't run, so they're gonna wait.
And then they're gonna come in from behind. Here it comes. What's it gonna be, guys? Jinx does see them. Leona does as well. They're backing up Kha'Zix. Are you gonna secure their buff?
Oh, got it.
And
Flash
or wait.
Spent.
And yes, so Elise did get it. Sorry, I was like, who got it? Because Elise's character was hidden by the bush. Yep. Either way, great buff steal. They really didn't sacrifice anything. You know, usually from an invade like that, it's like, oh, well, you're going to drop my jungler low because I had to fight their jungler. And I have to be that kind of thing.
The timing was actually so good.
Yeah, they just walked up. I was honestly expecting, oh, it's because he burned Smite immediately on the buff.
Oh,
he wanted to do it. He wanted to do it immediately. He didn't have it up to secure the kill. Unfortunate. As my jungler coach always smashed me over the head.
Always smite.
Always smite as a kill.
Oh my goodness, that is so unfortunate.
Always smite as a kill. That just
Thix
sucks.
got his Thresh? I didn't even notice that.
This is going to be tough. Thix, you know, the player we interviewed earlier, very strong support player, definitely very confident in his Thresh play.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what he brings. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the back-to-back hooks was game-changing.
I like how all the really good Thresh players have the Deep Sea Kraken skin.
Yeah.
Like Mad Life runs the Deep Sea Kraken skin. You're like, yarg!
It's very true.
It's kind of like how all the real Shyvana players have Ice Drake, because it's the one skin worth having on her. Oh, Elise actually opening up, does manage to land the cocoon. Doesn't actually get as much damage on Aurelia as she could have, though.
Okay, Kha'Zix is actually running all the way around down to the blue buff. He knows that Elise got the red and then went straight to the other red, so that in order to try to mind game the Kha'Zix.
And Orianna is
there's a great
here.
ward from Orianna, I think. I do believe Orianna warded that.
Warded.
Yep, and they do. So they do know.
And they've got pings going out saying, hey, you might have an invade at your blue. Please come help.
Now the bot lane needs to go help. They have the lane
because
pushed out.
Anivia is here. Kha'Zix is here. They come, but looks like the purple side bot is going to head them off. Thix doing a great job of singling out Leona. Sivir eating a lot of damage here, though.
There needs to be a flash from Sivir.
Flash is over. And Elise is going to be outputting
this is heavily in favor of SUPAhotCrew.
Yes, the Q power, and actually Repel hits the very edge of the early kill for Orianna, and she's got the blue buff. And she's got the blue buff
seen what
at
Yui
level
can do
3.
with a fed Orianna.
Yes, we have.
And it was not a
very
pretty sight
scary.
for the team.
And her getting the first blue buff of the game is going to not only catapult her into a lead, CS-wise, harass-wise against Anivia, but Anivia's not going to have her ult yet. And really, normally the second blue buff comes around the level 6 mark. So Anivia would be used to fighting on par blues with ults. But now, it's really just Orianna mashing Command Ball and Shockwave and doing massive amounts of damage.
Shoving the wave,
be
getting
hard.
the last hits, harassing Anivia.
Yep.
Just doing everything at the same time. Oh, no damage taken. Thank you, Orianna.
What a great shield. I was sad when they nerfed it.
Yeah.
I was very sad.
It was really strong, though.
I was like, I want a 1v1 Zed at level 1.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Orianna was
Did you see the retune to He-10 style? No mana cost?
I
You
did
can just
not.
leave it up in top lane, the entire lane, accepting the cooldown. I was like, whoa. Maybe it's time to start playing Aurelia again. Aurelia jungle?
Jungle, maybe?
Jungle Aurelia? That was good for a while.
Yeah.
So
Fairly good
Kha'Zix
game
is
so far.
walking through that sight ward, but Ryze is so far extended that even with the flash, the Ignite is going to pick up the kill.
And that is a problem with Ryze.
Yep, he just
Spent
doesn't,
the flash, still
doesn't
died.
have it. You have to try. Even if you know for better or for worse that you will die. I mean, what else are you going to use your flash on pre-15 minutes as Ryze? It's only to attempt an escape.
Yeah.
So really your only option. That's what it's there for.
The top lane Ryze has such a long ways to run before he's home.
I'm actually kind of interested because usually I see the Ghost on Ryze. And I saw all the Shyvana players picking up Flash as well. Tend to see a lot of Ghosts on those things.
Kha'Zix is in trouble. Ryze is doing the stutter step.
That Flash, the jump in not really leading to the situation that he wanted.
I feel like the Ryze is a little bit angry at that.
Yes, he is.
He's doing the stutter step. Just a little bit
Really
too slow.
wanted that Arcane Prison to land.
Yep. Sivir 0-0-2 with the longsword start, interestingly enough.
It's a fair pickup on Sivir. She doesn't have the huge, wave pushing. Hold on. At least getting really far into the tower, but Spiderling is tanking some tower shots.
The repel.
Anyhow, Sivir, Dorn's blade doesn't buff Boomerang Blade.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much as Longsword does. And that's going to be the vast majority of Sivir's, in-lane damage. So,
Sure.
It's very fair.
Oh, that cocoon was
barely
so close.
jukes out of the range.
There's the
Flashes
flash
out for
anyways.
security. Didn't want to get flayed. Really didn't want to get flayed.
And those are good ganks from shorter Ace.
Yep. Picking up the summoners.
Uh-oh, walking straight into Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix,
oh my God,
the isolation damage is just so much, and he's going to be able to repel down.
Oh,
he
the
might.
Leona.
No! Infinity Destinies! Does fall too, but he does trade for the Elise. About as much as he could have asked for with Orianna coming in to support that 4v3. A 1-to-1 is about as good as you're going to get.
Thresh picks up the kill.
Did we change buffs? Did Orianna walk away with any buffs? Or? Oh, okay. No buffs to be had.
I think it's a little unfortunate that Sivir isn't getting the kills. You obviously want the AD carry.
You obviously want the AD carry to get the kill, but hey,
But
Thresh wants Sightstone. Give Thresh Sightstone. Come on. Be helpful.
One thing that I've always noticed that Kimura is really good at is every time he's against a Leona, he lets the Zenith Blade hit him, and he always shields the stun. A lot of weaker Sivir players will try to shield the Zenith Blade, and then Leona will come to them anyways, and then he'll
she'll
get
walk
hit by the
up, she'll
stun.
flash up, and it was actually common when I was picking up Leona. I was always coached to, hey, Zenith Blade isn't the all-in move that it's made out to be. It's it's a root. That's all it is. So if you can walk up to them and land Daybreak Shield without needing Zenith Blade to get in, do that instead. Because then you have your follow-up route. You can even use it as an escape option if there's somebody behind you.
It launches you a
You
certain
can
distance.
change targets, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, very interesting things you can do with that Zenith Blade.
Use your mobility first, your skills second, and your summoners last. Positioning is your first tool at your disposal. And we have Elise actually coming in for Anivia here.
Ooh,
lands
Orianna
the cocoon.
on top of Elise.
Just, oh man, so much damage output there by the combination between Elise and Orianna. But Kha'Zix is here, and with support from Aurelia, ooh, just so much damage.
That was a fast
so
rotation by,
much damage.
TBD.
The double longsword on the isolation bonus. You know, they killed Anivia, but with the ult down, that 2v2 situation really wasn't what they were looking for. You know, if that ult had been up, they could have used it more defensively, but they wanted to secure that kill. Can't blame them.
That was really a byproduct of the Anivia passive, that egg. Just taking that little extra bit of time, so they couldn't really move out of that area until the Anivia was dead.
And it's really hard when you're playing, you know, a character like Malphite, like Orianna. Can you risk hitting one champion? You know, that skill is so valuable and so required. Like, can you risk actually just hitting one champion to secure a kill?
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yu picking up that blue buff. And we'll be able to make it back to the wave in time.
Yeah, gets good defense going.
Again, shielding the ice lances. And so far, a pretty passive game. I mean,
yeah, we're seeing this is kind of a more classic, standardized meta start. We saw a bit of action going on with Kha'Zix roaming, picking up a few kills, but overall, not too heavy on the playmaking. Both teams still with their towers up. Let's browse around real quick. Tower health. Yep, pretty much unpushed. Or I guess I only checked one team. Yep. Everything's still looking strong.
And after that first Ryze gank, Ryze has been doing fine in his lane. He
yeah, really, I mean, he's set himself. He's not ahead, but I'd be surprised if he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ryze after all.
It's Ryze. Aurelia is rushing the soul Spirit Visage. Ooh, Kha'Zix with the defensive ult, but it's not gonna avail her.
No flash on the Orianna.
Meanwhile, we've got that rotation bot by the jungler, and oh man, Elise putting in work. Shorter Ace showing us that we were wrong in doubting the power of the Spider Queen earlier.
Elise has really been creating a large impact on this game. 4 assists and 1 kill. Just the counter jungle in the early game, really trying to keep Kha'Zix down.
He fought a lot of good fights.
Oh, the flash hook,
you know, he fought a lot of good fights where he won. He might not have gotten the kill, but he won those fights. He forced the enemies away from their objectives, and you know, told them to turn tail and run.
Yeah, and they won't be able to catch the Kha'Zix out. I feel like if they did, they were looking to take the dragon off of that. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, and Yu kind of dies a little bit. His team doesn't get as much as they could have off that death, unfortunately. They didn't make the picks that they needed to, but not too big of a deal. Still ahead in the gold league by just a bit, but TBD.
Aurelia burning through a lot of mana there, getting some CS stacked up, but she now has a huge creep wave. And that may have been her goal from the start was, hey, I'm going to get this creep wave and shove Ryze under his tower where he might have a problem last hitting while I back.
He needs to spend a lot of mana to do that.
Yep, he's going to basically run himself dry clearing out that wave.
And another gank on Orianna.
This is just so rough. She still doesn't have flash up. So she's received, I think, 3 ganks in these 5 minutes.
Yeah. She still hasn't set up wards around her lane.
Yep, and that's kind of unfortunate because, you know, she was provided with the trinket ward.
Oh
admittedly,
my god, the damage.
Whoa, Kha'Zix! And now with the isolation bonus, there's no way Thresh is going to be able to fight him. His only option is to run. He's kind of tanky, though. He's kind of tanky.
That Doran shield.
Doran
really
shield.
For him. He's got a Doran
and the
shield,
Ruby Sightstone.
I really don't doubt that he gets defensive masteries on top of that, too.
Yep,
so.
I'm sure. You know, most people run like, what is it, 14, 17?
Yeah. Extra health.
Yep, extra health, reduction. Tankiness. You get the move speed, the bonus gold, the Biscuiteer.
And a lot of traded kills here. A lot of kills going on to Kha'Zix, which is not the ideal situation.
Not the ideal situation. That's not where you want the kill allocation.
Kha'Zix
you're facing
goes
him.
into Mega Bunny death mode.
Yep.
Just starts leaping all over the place.
Pop.
Reminds me of that scene in Monty Python, the Purple Bunny. That's exactly what Kha'Zix is.
I am death. Kha'Zix's coming through lane, but
oh,
and Leona
Box
is
going
7, so she is going to have access to her ult. And following the Super Mega Death Rocket, there isn't much Kha'Zix is going to need in terms of setting up an ideal engage. But Sivir with that Bloodthirster, I mean, she took actually quite a bit of damage from the ult there, but she lifesteals so much of it back. Ori duking it out with the Nivea. Definitely looking.
Wow.
Oh, we actually directed Kama, please. But smartly enough, they get to pop the egg. And where's the E? There we go.
Shorter Ace coming in, taking the kill.
He does
try.
try.
Orianna
He does. Yeah,
might have gotten cross-killed there. But
he did try to finish off Orianna with Ignite right before he died, but.
And that's one of the things about getting behind that a lot of people are scared to do, is that the farther you are behind, the worse the situation gets, because you're zoned out of farm, you're zoned out of EXP.
You're in the situation where you're like, do I attempt to reverse lane momentum with a risky play, or do I, risk letting him retain his momentum and just try to save farm?
That Q smite.
Leona is here. Kha'Zix does have a little bit of backup, but Repel is going to nullify the execution.
Shorter Ace is so good at using that Repel. He really knows when to use it to minimize the damage that he takes.
Oftentimes, it's like a Twitch defensive tool. People are like, and they just repel up. And sometimes you get like executioner errors, like they don't realize that if you have SmartCast on, if you're clicking over somebody, it'll immediately come back
it'll
down.
come up and come back down.
Yeah, that happened to me once or twice.
Yeah.
But, everything from being aware of like jungle camps, I can hop across walls. It's a skill that has a lot of utility.
Yeah.
Even just for being 3 seconds of complete invulnerability.
Dick's trying to look for a hook, but ends up backing away.
This is actually the first game we've seen Defon play Leona that I've seen.
That's true. She mostly plays
Morgana
one of the
first.
Thresh.
I think this is the first Leona play we've seen so far.
Yeah.
She's interestingly enough, especially considering that she's considered to be one of the holy trinity of supports, which interestingly enough has been completely set upside down.
Wow, Irelia is already done with the Spirit Visage, and Ryze is barely doing any damage to her. I feel like he's going to run out of mana before he actually gets to the point where he can kill Irelia.
Before the Frozen... here with Orianna, she just has so much magic resist, though. Like, you're not going to be able to kill her. And Jinx turning around this engagement.
Flashed into the trap. Unfortunately, if he was willing to spend the flash, the ideal situation would be for him to flash out of the Leona.
However, the true goal of Orianna coming to reinforce top was realized as bot tower does fall simultaneous with both bot lane towers falling.
And they're going to keep pushing for the tier 2s. They're probably just going to trade the turrets. And I wonder if they're going to try for the
they're
tier
confident
3s.
in the mid game. Let's see. The last base race we had was... and here comes a fight. Irelia trying to hold him off. Does burn the flash. Elise does follow her up with Repel. And does manage to secure the kill. But with Ignite on her, she will likely fall. Anivia actually flashed in for the kill there at the bottom of the screen. But it doesn't... she doesn't secure it. Elise does manage to escape even with Anivia's flash burned and the Ignite burned.
And they actually save the tower too.
The little bit of health from the Haunting guys, the CC reduction from the Blue Fist, very escaped by the skin of his teeth. Close call.
Very close call.
Well put.
And I thought the 2 ranged minion attacks was going to finish him off, but...
I thought Irelia would have ulted the wave. Also to push off, get a bit of lifesteal in there, but I guess he didn't see it as advantageous at the time.
They do save the tower, so now SUPAhotCrew is down 1 tower. But that will be taken in the future most time, because if there's anything SUPAhotCrew does is split push like crazy.
Yes, they do. And we see Ryze pulling ahead in CS. He doesn't have the J4 to shut him down. Irelia has her strengths as a champion, as that sort of like niche Trinity tank, mid-game, bruiser, sub-carry, kind of all-purpose role. Yeah. Like the jack-of-all-trades top role. But, she's not really going to be able to capitalize on, like, really early game advantages.
Yeah.
He needs
doesn't quite have that raw, just physical damage that Jarvan possesses.
Like a lot of her skills, especially her passive, are tuned to like team fights, like Blood Surge. You want more targets to Blood Surge to. It's good in lane, but it's really great for team fights, for snipping around. So many pings going out. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to mute pings.
Really big part of communication is those pings.
These guys, what are they doing? Really taking forever to kill each other. Oh, with Leona here, the added damage from her passive. Oh, the Thresh Lantern saves the Ryze, and Ryze just turns right around and starts turreting down. Still alive. He might actually be able to. Nope, Kha'Zix goes for the flash, and so he gets the blink. So he gets the reset, allowing him to jump out. But Orianna does pick up the kill on Kha'Zix. Nivea actually does pick up the kill on Elise, interestingly enough. We weren't able quite to see what happened there due to there just being so much action going on in a rather split team fight. But without their jungler or their top laner, it's going to be difficult for them to defend these towers. And with Dragon coming up in a minute, I don't think they're going to be able to freely position themselves outside of Dragon because there is a bit too much time before it respawns.
They lose another tower out of that initiation, and they kind of get the shorter end of the stick in that trade.
The gold advantage is still just barely in SUPAhotCrew's favor. And even though they're down a tower, did they get their first dragon?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Yes,
Okay, that's
Elise came in with the Q smite.
Yeah, right. That was the only thing that would have done it. Looking at gold real quick, top lane more or less tied, about as even we're just going to see it. Junglers, Kha'Zix, quite a bit more gold, and that's apparent. You know, he has an extra kill. Also, he has quite a bit more CS. You know, 100 to 63. Mid laners, real quick here. We'll try to get this done before the fight started. Orianna leading by 1,000. Supports. Thresh tied. Kha'Zix dying.
Damage. Repel.
And oh, good, excellent saving of the leap. However, Elise is a bit too tanky for them to turn on her. She kind of face blocks the rest of the potential engage. Oh, Elise just walking down, bravely facing all that poke from Nivea and Jinx. Thresh does get caught out, but I don't. Here's the Death Rocket, doesn't quite kill, and does juke out of the skill shots.
Oh my
And now
God.
turning around, Elise is able to execute one low target. Jinx falling. Nivea falling, Aurelia falling.
That is an ace. That is a big team fight.
Well played.
That was a really good reinitiate.
So we saw something I liked a lot there. SUPAhotCrew cut, you know, they forced the team back.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, we don't like this dragon area engage. We don't like our positioning. We don't think we're going to win with this positioning, so let's break them up. And they pushed one side, forced the teams to split up because they were afraid of, you know, the 5v2, and then they circled back around. And they caught the three, you know, the Jinx, Anivia, and Kha'Zix underneath the Wraith camp, and everybody came to help. You know, Thresh was there. You know, Anivia turned around to get a couple hits on Thresh, and at that time, the entirety of SUPAhotCrew clustered in to fight those three characters and really made quick work of them.
Yeah. So they are going to get Baron off of that, and they're going to get that first tower off of that. So this is a pretty big win.
And that's, you know, kind of the scary part of having your only, like, really hard... Your hard peels in this team for to be determined. Anivia Wall, Leona. The character of Leona is a peel.
Yeah.
Without even any skills. You just walk up and just be Leona. Your ADC's peeled. But that's really all that they have. You know, they don't have the Veigar Event Horizon. They don't have, like, Lee Sin disengage with Dragon Kick.
Right.
So if anybody gets caught out, like I said earlier, like the skirmish potential of Shorter Ace's team, it's been showcased. Elise's strengths have very much been highlighted in this game.
The decision-making in their team fights have been pretty solid for most of the part of the tournament. I mean,
Shorter Ace making good calls. The reason he's earned his position of respect.
Yeah.
And his challenger back.
5 group mid here for TBD. Meanwhile, Xiaolan doing what Xiaolan does best. Pushing the side.
Pushing the side.
Just forever pushing.
And this
the
is
side
good
things.
because even with Baron buff, Shorter Ace knows that his team isn't going to be able to effectively push against an Anivia under her turret. She's going to wave clear every time, and unless they had something really tanky, they're not just going to walk under the turret.
They need to make the picks, and they're trying right now.
Yep,
Cocoon misses.
but it's too conservative, and there's too much poke going on. And especially if you throw Jinx into the mix, because if somebody like gets clipped by like the edge of a Flame Chomper, that could turn really bad really fast.
Yeah. There's the wave
There's
clear
the
that we
wave
were talking about.
clear.
Ooh, a nice stun onto Anivia. That's going to stop the ultimate for just a bit. Another missed hook.
Meanwhile, this whole time, Ryze has been pushing top and is now actually a massive CS lead versus Aurelia.
That's something he
Quickly-
never seems to fail to do.
Yep, he's always got... He's very confident in his last hitting ability in lane. You know, actually at 25 minutes and 33, I'm very impressed. That's a really good score for Ryze.
Yeah, he's only missed maybe like 20, 30.
Ryze
wow,
flashing
he tried to
in,
initiate.
looking for an engage, but he doesn't actually manage to single anybody out until he catches Aurelia at the steps of the inhibitor
And that
turret.
is actually a pretty good chunk. They might be able to get this next tier turret.
Anivia falling behind her ice wall, and even the Super Mega Death Rocket isn't gonna put them low enough to discourage them from taking this inhibitor. This is looking very good for SUPAhotCrew. I really don't see this being contested. I'm just gonna back up. Now that they have Baron buff, they can take this half HP, half mana pool setting they've been placed in, take it top lane, take it bot lane, split even like they are. Let's go continue this rampage.
I like how the instant they created an opening, everybody just pounced at the chance. They just started diving instantly.
When the game is on the line, your tournament appearance is at risk. It's time to listen to the team captain. And Ryze actually forced that. We got so much reinforcement there.
Gets the flash.
Elise might just... she's got a good amount of health. Although the consecutive turret shots are going to start doing damage.
Ooh!
Excellent Ori ult does pick up. That was really key. She didn't kill anybody, but look at what she did. She effectively won the engagement with an ult that didn't kill anybody.
Yep.
Because there's a free tower. They weren't really going to be able to push following that because their Baron was running out. Oh,
Yeah,
Ryze.
Oh my God,
Ryze.
look at how
Nah,
much
man.
damage
Look
that
at this. He's finished his Glacial Shroud. He's got his Blasting Wand. He's going to start outputting a lot of damage. And there's the other flash. Picks up the kill.
I think Fix was hoping that Ryze was gonna leap over the wall so they could play the leap.
Kind of sad I missed the fight up top. I would have liked to see. I guess Aurelia probably just used all of her buttons. And then
I guarantee you that when the Ryze spawns, he's just gonna teleport back over to the top lane and just keep pushing.
they just kill him. She's got creeps right up there.
Kill me once.
I guess they have a ward even in their base by the mid inhibitor that's currently fallen. And we're gonna pick up her blue. Baron is up in 2. Dragon up in 130. It's interesting to see how these teams are going to position themselves for the next global objective. Look at a take. So Elise, 7 kills, currently leading her team. Very resilient. She's finished Randuin's. She's hunting guys, Blue Fist. She's got the Negatron Cloak. So, you know, if you add that to the incidental damage that's prevented by having the Spiderlings block, like skill shots, or, you know, her added survivability in Repel, nobody is killing Shorter Ace anytime soon.
Yeah, Shorter Ace has had a fantastic game. 7-3-8, and just making so many plays.
He's died probably a few times more than he wanted to, but as his team's only real dedicated frontline engager, that's a trade he's willing to make.
Kimura continuing to shove out that wave with Sivir's ever strong wave push.
Stronger wave push. Even back when it was just Boomerang Blade, it would kill the wave. It would kill the wave by itself. You didn't need that W stuff.
Yep, that extra stuff.
The extra stuff. Yeah,
Get
got
that
a couple hits
down.
on the tower there. Oh, Thresh very wary of what looked like could have been. I think he was afraid of Anivia catching somebody with a wall. It's like, hey, we better put this lantern here so that they can hop right over it.
Real escape mechanism for that wall. So.
Yep. It's actually similar to Trundle's Ice Pillar of Frost, it creates a physical barrier. So things like magic immunity, CC immunity, immune to slows, those don't matter because you cannot physically walk through it.
Oh, and that's
Orianna getting a deep ult, catching 4 champions, 4 to be determined. Kha'Zix is going to jump in, see what he can do. He does manage to pick up a kill and reset and jump back out. Elise very low on health. Aurelia actually teching next to nothing. Arise is, catches the Lantern ult, but Ignite's going to pick up the kill.
Leona had a really good ult into the back line.
She did.
SUPAhotCrew, but then Orianna came back with a super amazing counter ult.
That was really good. If that team, if those 4 champions had been anywhere even close to SUPAhotCrew, the follow-up from Orianna's ult would have been devastating. But it also served a different job of keeping them away from the team fight, so that it was just Kha'Zix and Leona in that 2v4. Fortunately, Kha'Zix is Kha'Zix. He did manage to pick up a kill, jumped right back out. That's what matters.
And Kha'Zix is now 9-5-5, and he's, I mean, he could be a little fatter. He could have a Last Whisper by now.
Yep.
But he's not doing too poorly for himself. He picked up
He decided to pick the Angels very soon. I guess it's not extremely soon considering his kill ratio. He definitely has a bit of gold to spend. But
soon in his itemization.
Soon in his itemization, you usually see the Last Whisper first, or even the Manamune sometimes, depending on how they want to do it.
Ooh, a nice cocoon.
We do
going in for the Orianna.
We single out Elise there, but she cares not. Those tanky stats are really going to come into play. She still has Repel, and is a latch. Oh, or did she not have it? My bad. Anyway, and we also see a kill on Anivia there, and Rise picking up a kill on Leona. This engagement went really well for SUPAhotCrew as they pick up the double there, and that leads to 3. So 3 for 1. Elise absorbed so much. I think she ate 2 ignites.
A really selfish play.
Someone flashed to try and secure a kill on her.
Yeah.
As she walked around the Baron Pit wall, she took so much of Kha'Zix's damage, just absorbed more than enough to leave to be determined dry when it came to fighting the other 4 members of her team.
It was really that Q in spider form that put her into the position for that Orianna ult. Yeah,
that was really good. Orianna loves anybody with a short-range gap closer.
Yeah.
If you have a really long-range gap closer, sometimes the ult will be out of range. Unless you're really good and you can cause it to start up as Lee Sin is dashing, so it finishes starting up as he lands outside of your range. But that's kind of unreasonable to ask of any player. So somebody who is a short dash like Sejuani or Vi, definitely very powerful.
Uh-oh, and that's an awkward Zhonya's.
Yep.
She's going to ult right after that.
She's going to ult right after. It doesn't lead to a whole lot of damage or disengage power, but with Thresh here, she will probably be able to absorb quite a bit. It's just that they're not going to be able to output the sustained damage to really kill anybody. Yeah, there's no punishment for just walking at SUPAhotCrew and killing them one by one. With Elise dead, with Orianna dead, who's going to kill them? Rise wasn't around.
They didn't have their AoE damage that they used from things like Orianna holding them down and then using her W and using her Q to snare them, and then Rise coming in with big
turret type damage.
Yeah.
With Rise not around, Orianna was there. She kept herself alive as long as she could have hoped to. The ult, she had a sliver of health at the end there after Zhonya's. Really just trying to give her her mates breathing room to get out, but it's a really rough situation. SUPAhotCrew still in the lead, make no mistake. Interestingly enough, they haven't really been winning team fights.
Yeah.
It's been a rough, rocky road for them in the team fight department. They've lost easily as much as they've come out an advantage for. And, we're not really seeing any one player do superbly well. Everybody has their fair share of deaths and kills.
Yeah. It is very true.
Both teams really meeting each other on even footing. Now, SUPAhotCrew does have a 4 tower lead. And that is as big of a difference in mechanical advantage as they're going to hope to have right now. They have the freedom to run around map. They have the inhibitor. And with the inhibitor up, you know, they're going to get a little bit of pressure from the super minions mid lane, but not enough to secure Baron.
Some people really like to do kind of a 3-2 split in this situation when they have mid inhibitor, where the 3 people can threaten doing Baron, while 2 people stay either in one lane or 2 different lanes, and continue to pressure.
You might toss Baron, but we'll take the rest of your towers. All the rest of your towers.
And it looks like a team fight is underway here.
We have the engage as Baron goes low. Now, to be determined, didn't lose a whole lot of health there. It looks like they might be trying to secure. And Elise secures it with the Q and the smite. Kha'Zix, the Guardian Angel, is popped along with Zhao Lan's Guardian Angel. So many Guardian Angels. Kha'Zix does fall before he picks up the final kill on Ryze there, which would have enabled him to jump back over the wall. So that went very well for SUPAhotCrew. That was a team fight they wanted to win. They're like, hey, you know, Corey, you may have said we didn't win any team fights, but gonna have to take that back because we won the one that mattered. We won the one at Baron. We popped the Guardian Angel.
And what was interesting to me was that TBD were the ones who decided to start the Baron, and that kind of threw off their positioning, threw off their kind of angle.
To be fair, it was a decent bait. They didn't sacrifice too much. They were not low on health. They didn't spend a whole lot of skills. It's just that Elise, when it comes to securing Baron, who's going to do more damage than Q plus Smite near simultaneously?
Yeah.
Well, you can get like what, Nunu with Consume Smite or Cho'Gath, sure.
Yeah,
Nunu and Cho'Gath.
To Lee Sin's Q Smite too.
Right,
where they have the execute
damage.
It really just chunks down the mobs so hard.
Unless you have some kind of, you know, fractional frame perfect team coordination for landing simultaneous auto attacks, Elise is going to have the advantage for securing the Baron. And interestingly enough, that team fight was close enough where I'm willing to say that really, you know, the amount of regeneration and ability power from Baron alone may have tipped that into their favor.
Yeah, that is true.
Kha'Zix actually quite a few defensive. Oh, and Ryze looking to be in trouble here. He does have reinforcements, and it's that tankiness. Oh, man. Looks like Kha'Zix is going to fall.
He was just kidnapped right there.
Yeah, the Seraphs just gave him that massive shield. It didn't really look like he was super tanky because he was taking quite a bit of damage, but then you realize that was all shield damage.
Yeah. Oh, a nice flash.
He does get the Arcane Prism on Jinx, forcing her to retreat quite quickly. Oh, this is going to be rough. You know, to be honest, this may be the end for to be determined. Vengeance. Vengeance! Leona going in deep, but just gets just absolutely liquidated by the torrential assault of Ryze and Sivir.
God.
And Orianna is picking up the pieces. Ryze is where he wants to be. He's got the Baron for the CDR. He's finished. Frozen Heart and Seraphs fully stacked. 4 items. What else could you ask for?
After they got that Baron, they went back to buy, and all of a sudden it just seems like they could not dent the health levels of SUPAhotCrew.
Yep. And a desperate, just wanted to get the kill for the lost screen. Might as well look a little bit better when you're going down.